Hey, what's up? This is Mark, your friendly neighborhood driving instructor. The technique I'm about to show you in this video is something you can use to supplement any parallel parking method you learn watching YouTube, or that you've learned by somebody showing you how to parallel park. No matter what method somebody shows you to do to parallel park a car, there always will be issues. No parallel parking method is perfect, okay? Especially if you learn by a series of steps, which is, probably 100% of the videos that you watch on YouTube, as far as how to parallel park, will show you, okay, pull up to the car right here, turn the wheel to the right a certain amount, back up until you see this magical spot that you're supposed to stop at. When you get to that magical spot, then turn the wheel back all the way in the other direction, and then reverse back, and then magically you're in the spot. All right. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. All right. So when it doesn't work, there's two things that can happen. Either you're too far or you're too close. So I'm going to show you some techniques how to fix those things when you wind up too far to the away from the curb, and when you wind up too close. This particular one, I'm going to show you what to do when you wind up too close to the curb, when you're about to hit the curb. So it's basically going to show you how to avoid ever hitting the curb again when you're parallel parking. Okay, in New York State, most examiners will allow you up to 5 steps to parallel park. You should be able to do it within 2 to 3 steps, which is standard. So your examiner will expect you to do it within 2 to 3 steps, which is good. If you go over 2 or 3 steps, over 3 steps, then it will start taking off points. They won't typically fail you until you go over 5 steps. What is a step? Every time you either stop the car and change the gear, or stop the car and change the direction of your steering wheel, that will typically be considered a step. All right. If you are able to maneuver your car into the space without stopping your vehicle, then that will be better for you in a short run and in the long run. Why? Because they will, even though you may go back and forth with the wheel several times, your examiner will tend to consider that one big step as opposed to several steps. All right. So if you can learn how to park without stopping the car, that will be better for you. All right. Again, in the short run and in the long run. All right. All right, so usually when you see that you have a problem, you're probably up to your second or your third step in a parallel parking. What I'm about to show you is basically 2 steps. And that will apply to anything, any situation, as far as where you're either too far from the curb or too close to the curb. You should be able to fix it within 2 steps. All right, so this is basically a 2-step method. All right, so here we go. Okay, one of the simplest things you could do to avoid ever hitting the curb ever again is to use your side mirror, your right side passenger side mirror. Why? Because if you're parallel parking and you're taking your road test in New York City, you're always going to be asked to park on the right hand side of the street. All right. Some people may say, "Oh, I can't use my mirror to parallel park, or can't lower it during the test." That's not necessarily true. I've been doing this for 20 years. That used to be true, but nowadays it seems like they're a little bit more lenient with that. I haven't seen anybody fail because they moved the mirror, this passenger side mirror, during the middle of the test to help them parallel park. What they do not like, however, is when you only use the mirror and you do not turn your head to look over your shoulder as you're reversing. Really, they want you to be looking back here when you're reversing and not just here. Why? Because if you're just looking here and you're parallel parking and you're reversing, somebody, a person or a vehicle could walk behind you or pull up behind you and you can hit them. All right, so anyway, this is fine. So you would like to, when you're getting ready to parallel park, either if you're nervous about moving the mirror down during the test, move it down at the beginning of the test. So whether you do it at the beginning of the test or right when you're getting ready to parallel park, this mirror, you should move it. The best way, most of the time people have it up to see traffic behind them. But what you want to do is, in order for it to help you parallel park better to avoid hitting the curb, is move this mirror in as much to the left as possible and down, not all the way down, but enough to see kind of sort of where your tire is, enough to see the ground. You don't want it all the way down like this, because you won't be seeing what you really need to see. Also, it gives you a false sense of having more space than you really than what you really might have. So you want to have it up. You want to see the back of the back of the vehicle. You want to see the side of the vehicle, and you want to see the ground.